Hey, this is Tony from the Cold Case Project, where we focus on unsolved cases across the United States. Our mission is to bring attention to these unresolved mysteries that need your help. All the information we cover in these cases is readily available on the internet, but we rewrite and repurpose it for the purpose of these videos. Our goal is to spread the word about the thousands of unsolved cold cases still out there. Thank you for watching. If you want to help shed light on these cases, make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Your support can make a difference.
In the winter of 1969 to 1970, in a modest home occupied by a struggling family, a little girl named Anna Marie Aruo disappeared. She was one of 7 children in a household dominated by strict discipline and fear. Anna Marie lived with her mother, Anita Maria Vega, her stepfather, Luis Vega Sr., and her siblings, including her 9-year-old sister, Margarita. What was once a home should have been a sanctuary, but for Anna Marie, it became a place of torment, a place where she endured unspeakable suffering until, according to one harrowing testimony, she simply ceased to exist. Her story remained buried for over 2 decades, lost in the shadows of silence and intimidation, until Margarita, then a grown woman, found the courage to speak the truth. Anna Marie's existence was fraught with hardship. According to Margarita's later testimony, their mother, Anita, was often cruel and physically abusive, particularly toward Anna Marie. Margarita recalled how her mother would beat Anna Marie severely, deprive her of food, and force her into cold baths as a form of punishment. The discipline was beyond harsh. It was torture. The pattern of abuse painted a picture of a child who had been cast aside, unwanted, and unloved by the very person meant to protect her. One fateful night, the abuse turned deadly. Margarita recounted how Anita once again subjected Anna Marie to an icy bath, but this time, she held her daughter's head under the water until she stopped struggling. The silence that followed was deafening. Anna Marie was gone. A mother had just killed her child. But rather than seek help, rather than weep over her daughter's body, Anita moved swiftly to erase Anna Marie's existence. Margarita described how her mother wrapped Anna Marie's small, naked body in an army blanket before placing her into a cardboard box, a box that Luis Vega Sr., her stepfather, later took away after returning home from work. Margarita would never see her sister again, but she remembered overhearing Luis telling Anita that he had buried Anna Marie near the railroad trestles in Frankfurt, known as the viaducts. And just like that, Anna Marie Aruo vanished. There was no funeral, no grave, no obituary, just silence. The disappearance of Anna Marie did not raise alarms at the time. There were no missing person reports, no investigations. It was as though she had never existed. And in a way, that was exactly how Anita intended it. For over 2 decades, Margarita kept the truth locked away, held captive by the terror instilled in her by her mother. Anita made sure of it, threatening her own daughter with death if she ever spoke about what had happened to Anna Marie. The weight of the secret festered inside Margarita's soul, growing heavier with each passing year. It wasn't until 1992, after Margarita had been hospitalized in a California mental health facility for severe anxiety, that the truth began to surface. During therapy sessions, she finally found the strength to speak about the horror she had witnessed as a child. The medical staff listened with growing concern and urgency. They told her that if she did not report what had happened, they would. Finally, after more than 2 decades, Margarita walked into a police station and revealed the horrific truth. Her sister had been murdered by their mother, her body hidden away like an unwanted possession. The investigation into Anna Marie Aruo's disappearance had finally begun. The police faced an unusual challenge. There was no missing persons report, no crime scene, no remains, only the word of a woman who had carried a secret for 23 years. Investigators first attempted to find any proof of Anna Marie's existence. But outside of a single photograph and a birth certificate, she had been all but erased from history. Margarita led authorities to the Benel Cemetery, where she believed her mother had later moved Anna Marie's remains. She recalled how in 1985, Anita had shown her a sack filled with dirt and bones, claiming they belonged to Anna Marie. But when police sifted through the soil at the burial site Margarita had identified, they found nothing but turkey bones. The search yielded no human remains, leaving investigators with little physical evidence. Even the testimony of Margarita's siblings did not help. Rather than corroborate her story, they denied her claims. Some stated they had no memory of Anna Marie's existence. Others simply remained silent. The family was divided, and Margarita found herself alone in her pursuit of justice for her lost sister. Despite the lack of physical evidence, prosecutors moved forward. In October 1993, Anita Maria Vega was charged with involuntary manslaughter. Luis Vega Sr. had passed away in the mid-1980s, taking his secrets to the grave. When confronted by police, Anita initially denied ever having a daughter named Anna Marie. But when authorities presented her with a birth certificate, she changed her story multiple times, first claiming Margarita had killed Anna Marie, then saying that Luis had done it, then suggesting she had found Anna Marie dead in bed, but had kept it secret out of fear. She even claimed Luis had threatened her, fearing deportation to Mexico. At trial, Margarita testified in harrowing detail about the night her sister was killed. Another sibling, Guadalupe Thomas, also took the stand, partially corroborating Margarita's testimony by admitting she had seen Anna Marie's body. However, the defense sought to discredit Margarita, arguing that she was a bitter daughter seeking revenge on her mother for not supporting her when she alleged that Luis had sexually abused her. The jury deliberated for just 15 minutes before returning with a guilty verdict. Anita Maria Vega was sentenced to 1 to 10 years in prison. She served only 3. Justice was served, but it was far from complete. Anna Marie's body was never found. There is no known burial site, no physical place where a sister can go to grieve. For Margarita, the wounds remain. Her siblings, still loyal to Anita, have cut ties with her. She remains estranged from the family she once belonged to, having sacrificed those relationships for the truth. But her voice was not in vain. Because of Margarita's courage, Anna Marie's story was told. The little girl who had been erased was finally acknowledged. Though her body may never be found, her existence can never again be denied. Anna Marie Aruo lived. She mattered, and though justice came late, her name will never again be silenced. Kokomo, Indiana, August 2011. Kelly Armstrong was a mother, a sister, a daughter, and a friend. Though she had her struggles, those who knew her described her as loving, kind, and devoted to her children. Her sudden and unexplained disappearance sent shockwaves through her family. But what followed was an investigation marked by delays, neglect, and a lack of urgency that has left her loved ones searching for answers to this day. Kelly was last heard from in July 2011. She lived in a trailer in Kokomo with her boyfriend, Travis Funk, and their young child. It wasn't uncommon for Kelly to go periods without reaching out, but when weeks turned into months without a single word, her sister, Shelley Rush, grew increasingly concerned. She tried calling Kelly's home, but every time she spoke with Travis, he provided vague, conflicting excuses. Kelly was out with friends, at work, or simply unavailable. Yet, he could never say where exactly she was or when she'd be back. Something felt terribly wrong. In September 2011, with still no sign of Kelly, her sister took matters into her own hands. She started visiting Kelly's usual hangouts, talking to friends and neighbors. No one had seen or heard from her in weeks. That was the final red flag. On September 26, 2011, Shelley reported Kelly missing to the Kokomo Police Department. Despite the alarming circumstances, law enforcement was slow to act. A welfare check was finally conducted, but there was no trace of Kelly or Travis. Notably, Travis had been on house arrest for an unrelated charge, yet no one had been monitoring him. When police arrived at the trailer, it was empty. Travis had cut off his ankle monitor and vanished. When authorities entered the trailer with a search warrant the following day, they found something chilling: large bloodstains on the carpeting. However, instead of treating the residence as an active crime scene, securing evidence, and launching an immediate forensic investigation, they inexplicably left it open and unsecured. In the following days, Travis was finally apprehended on unrelated charges, but Kelly was still missing. When questioned, Travis refused to cooperate. Then, on October 7, 2011, an unexpected break came in the case. A fellow inmate of Travis came forward, claiming Travis had confessed to murdering Kelly and expressed concerns about the evidence left behind. Yet, even with this damning information, police failed to act with urgency. There was no immediate follow-up search, no forensic deep dive into the trailer. The case seemed to stagnate as critical time was lost. Weeks passed before another informant came forward. A friend of Travis told police that Travis had explicitly described how he had killed Kelly with a hammer. The friend recalled seeing the bloodstains in the trailer and revealed that Travis had asked for help disposing of the evidence. The friend refused, but the revelation was a bombshell. Finally, authorities were forced to take action. It wasn't until November 2nd, 2011, nearly a month after Travis's confession to his cellmate, that police secured a second search warrant for the trailer. Inside, they found a green-handled hammer that matched the friend's description, as well as 2 large bloodstains in the bedroom and additional stains in the living room. Subsequent DNA tests confirmed the blood belonged to Kelly Armstrong. Despite the mounting evidence, investigators continued to drag their feet. If they had acted sooner, perhaps more crucial evidence could have been preserved. Instead, the trailer had been left unsecured for weeks, even after the discovery of blood. Teenagers had reportedly broken in and thrown a party, further contaminating the scene. On January 6, 2012, Travis Funk was formally interviewed by police. He finally admitted to killing Kelly, but his story was as unbelievable as it was infuriating. He claimed that Kelly had hit him in the head with a hammer, knocking him unconscious, and that he only remembered killing her in what he described as a vivid dream. His alleged self-defense argument was laughable in the face of the evidence. Travis went on to describe how he disposed of Kelly's body. He said he placed a plastic bag over her head, wrapped her in a tarp, and put her in a trash container. That container was picked up later that same day by the local garbage service. However, there was a problem. Police initially determined that the murder had taken place on July 8, 2011, but Kelly's family had spoken to her as late as August 2nd. If Travis was lying about the date of the murder, was he also lying about where he had disposed of her body? The police conducted a search of the Wabash Valley landfill, believing that's where Kelly's remains had ended up. But they found nothing. Then came another blow. Authorities declared they would not conduct further searches unless Kelly's family footed the bill. The cost: a staggering $7,000 per day. The family was devastated. They had fought tirelessly for Kelly, only to be told that her final resting place wasn't worth searching for unless they paid for it themselves. By February 2012, Travis Funk was offered a plea deal. Prosecutors accepted his claim that he had killed Kelly in a heat of passion, reducing the charge to voluntary manslaughter. He was sentenced to just 33 years in prison, a mere fraction of what Kelly's family felt he deserved. Even worse, the family still had no body, no closure, and no justice. They couldn't even visit the last place Kelly lived. The trailer was eventually removed from the park. The one place that could have served as a somber memorial was gone, just like Kelly. To this day, Kelly Armstrong's remains have never been found. Her family continues to believe that Travis knows more than he ever admitted, that he lied about when and where he disposed of her body. But with law enforcement unwilling to continue the search, they are left in limbo, mourning a loved one they can never lay to rest. If you have any information about Kelly Armstrong's case or where Travis Funk may have disposed of her remains, please contact the Kokomo Police Department at 765-459-5101. On July 25, 2015, Diamond Bynum and her young nephew, King Walker, mysteriously vanished from their home in Gary, Indiana. Their disappearance has since been a chilling case that has puzzled authorities, and despite extensive searches, media coverage, and public pleas, the mystery remains unsolved. Diamond Bynum was a 21-year-old woman living with her father, Eugene Bynum, and his wife, Suzanne, in Gary, Indiana. She was born on February 18, 1994, and although she was an adult, Diamond had intellectual delays and physical limitations due to Prader-Willi syndrome, a rare genetic disorder. This condition leads to extreme flexibility, cognitive impairments, and, most notably, an insatiable hunger. Diamond had the mental and emotional capabilities of a 7-year-old child, which meant she often acted in ways that were age-inappropriate for a 21-year-old adult. King Walker, on the other hand, was just a toddler at the time of the disappearance. Born on May 11, 2013, King was just 2 years old, a playful and energetic child with an infectious personality. He stood about 3 feet tall and weighed approximately 35 pounds. His family described him as a joyful, curious boy who loved to run around and play. He was not yet speaking in full sentences, but he understood a handful of words and loved games like running and being chased. King was the nephew of Diamond, and the two were extremely close, often spending weekends together. The family had recently moved from Hammond, Indiana, to Gary, Indiana, in February 2015, so Diamond was still unfamiliar with the area. Though her father and stepmother were newly settled in Gary, Diamond's prior home in Hammond had been a place where neighbors knew her well, and she could rely on others to help guide her if she ever got lost. In contrast, her new surroundings in Gary were unfamiliar, and this would play a crucial role in the events that followed. The timeline of events leading to Diamond and King's disappearance begins on the morning of July 25, 2015. It was a Saturday, and Diamond and King were spending time together at the home on the 500 block of Matthews Street in Gary, Indiana. On this particular morning, Suzanne Bynum, Diamond's stepmother, decided to take a nap. Around 10:20 a.m., both Diamond and King were in the home, laying down for a morning rest. Suzanne also lay down to rest shortly thereafter. However, when Suzanne woke up at around 11 a.m., she was immediately concerned. Diamond and King were gone. Suzanne quickly checked the house, the front yard, and the immediate area for any sign of them, but found nothing. Panicking, she called her husband Eugene at work and told him to come home immediately. She then called the police to report the two missing. The search for Diamond and King began quickly, but there were few leads at first. Suzanne was certain that something had happened to them. It was highly uncharacteristic for Diamond to wander off on her own, especially considering her intellectual limitations. Furthermore, King, being so young, would not have been able to wander far by himself. The family initially thought that Diamond might have taken King to a nearby store, but this theory quickly faded. There was plenty of food in the house, including an untouched chocolate cake, which led the family to believe that Diamond had no reason to go out for supplies. The family quickly started to consider other possibilities. Could King have opened the front door, and Diamond, following him, have become lost while trying to keep up? According to the family, King was faster than Diamond, and it was possible that he had run far enough away for them to both become disoriented. Another theory was that Diamond, not familiar with Gary, had decided to go for a walk but had gotten lost in the unfamiliar city. One potential lead came from a McDonald's employee who reported seeing the pair in a local McDonald's. The employee claimed they gave Diamond and King food, but at the time, they were unaware that the pair was missing. When the authorities were notified, they tried to obtain security footage from the McDonald's, but there was no confirmation that Diamond and King had been there. The family was left with more questions than answers. As the hours turned into days, the search for Diamond and King intensified. Their family, friends, and neighbors all combed through the area, knocking on doors, handing out flyers, and searching nearby abandoned buildings. The police continued to investigate, and by Sunday, July 26, 2015, they had received numerous tips from people claiming to have seen the pair. However, none of these tips led to any solid leads, and by the evening of July 27th, the sightings remained unconfirmed. By Wednesday, July 29, 2015, the search expanded significantly. The FBI's Gang Response Investigative Team, the Indiana Department of Homeland Security, and the Porter County Search and Rescue Teams were all called in to assist. Investigators began searching house by house, block by block, and checking abandoned homes in Gary. This was no small task. Gary had approximately 15,000 abandoned homes at the time. Dogs trained to detect scent were brought in to track the pair's whereabouts. The dogs were able to track their scent to a local gas station, but the trail was lost soon after. Despite their best efforts, investigators found nothing of significance during their block-by-block search. At this point, the police began to entertain the idea that someone might be hiding or caring for Diamond and King. They received a tip suggesting that someone might be looking after them somewhere in the area, but again, no concrete evidence or confirmation emerged. Gary ranks as one of the most dangerous cities in the United States, and one should definitely be aware of their surroundings in such a city. As days turned into weeks, the pressure mounted for the family. On Eugene Bynum's birthday, July 27, 2015, he expressed how devastating it was to be spending his special day searching for his missing daughter and grandson. The family did everything they could to keep the search going, but by August 3, 2015, the official police search was called off. Lieutenant Thomas of the Gary Police Department explained that resources had dried up and they simply no longer had the means to continue the extensive search. However, Eugene and other family members did not stop. They continued to search through abandoned houses, posting flyers, and contacting local churches and volunteers to assist. Eugene became desperate for answers, staying out late into the night, searching the streets for any trace of his family members. In mid-August, the police released a statement announcing that a person of interest, a 34-year-old man from Gary, was being sought in connection with the disappearances. The man was later located and interviewed, but no charges were filed, and he was ruled out as a suspect. This left the investigation at a standstill, with no clear direction for the police to follow. As the weeks passed, the family continued their search, although the lack of resources from law enforcement was a constant source of frustration. On August 29, 2015, the family held a press conference marking the 1-month anniversary of Diamond and King's disappearance. At this point, the family was vocal about their frustration with the lack of an Amber Alert being issued. King, being only 2 years old, met the criteria for an Amber Alert, but because he was with an adult at the time, it was believed that he was not in immediate danger. Additionally, because Diamond was an adult, she did not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert either. Despite their calls for action, the alert was never issued. In the following weeks, additional unconfirmed sightings of Diamond and King continued to surface. Some claimed they had been spotted on the south side of Chicago, eating at fast food restaurants with a white couple, but nothing was verified. On September 2, 2015, after nearly 6 weeks of searching, authorities issued a silver alert for Diamond, but not for King, as he was still presumed to be with Diamond. A tip led police to Blue Island, Illinois, about 25 miles away, where it was believed that Diamond and King had been seen near a gas station. However, when surveillance footage was reviewed, it was determined that the individuals in the video were not Diamond and King. The case continued to generate media interest, especially after the discovery of a body in Garfield Park Lagoon in Chicago on September 5, 2015. The body was identified as a 2-year-old boy, and although the family feared it might be King, DNA tests later confirmed that it was not him. The family held on a hope that their loved ones were still alive. As months passed, and with no new leads, the family's hope began to fade. By December 2015, Eugene spoke with immense sorrow, describing how difficult it had been to spend the holidays without his daughter and grandson. His words reflected the heavy burden of uncertainty that hung over the family. The search for Diamond and King went on, but with fewer resources and no confirmed sightings, the case began to fade from the public eye. In 2016, nearly a year after their disappearance, investigators from the Northwest Indiana Major Crimes Task Force began to reassess the case. They conducted re-interviews, re-canvassed areas with new canine searches, and submitted evidence for further testing. But no new information came to light, and the case remained unresolved. Over the following years, the case continued to slip into obscurity. The family held annual vigils and press conferences, always hoping for new information that would lead them to Diamond and King. In 2018, after nearly 3 years, the police revealed that they had not received a tip in over a year. The case seemed to be at a standstill, and the search effort was minimal. The Bynum family continued to press for answers, holding rallies and engaging the public through social media. By 2020, after 5 years of Diamond and King's disappearance, the family still clung to the hope that their loved ones were alive. A few tips came in, but none led to any significant breakthroughs. On the 7th anniversary of the disappearance, in July 2022, investigators released an age-progressed photo of King, now a 9-year-old child. It was an attempt to bring the case back into the public eye. While there was no new information, the hope remained. The family has not given up, continuing to search for their loved ones. They believe someone knows what happened and continue to urge anyone with information to come forward. The mystery of Diamond Bynum and King Walker's disappearance remains unsolved to this day. The police investigation remains active, and the public's assistance is still sought. Both Diamond and King's families continue to hold out hope that one day they will find answers and be reunited with their loved ones. If anyone has information about the case, they are encouraged to contact the Gary Police Department at 219-881-1260. On the evening of December 31st, 2014, 18-year-old Marina Bolter, a bright, independent young woman from Bloomfield, Indiana, clocked out her shift at the IGA grocery store at 6 o'clock p.m. She was last seen getting into a silver, beige, or gold 2009 to 2011 Mercury Milan, driven by a middle-aged Caucasian male with glasses. The car, characterized by multi-spoke rims, a spoiler, and a shark fin antenna on top, drove off in the direction of Marina's apartment. This moment would be the last time anyone saw Marina alive, and she would disappear without a trace. Marina had been dealing with challenges in her life, especially in her teenage years. She had given birth to a son in April 2014, and despite a tumultuous relationship with her on-and-off-again boyfriend, Douglas D.J. Lockhart, they both loved their child. However, Marina's life took a painful turn when her sister, Faith, and Faith's boyfriend got into a physical altercation in August 2014, resulting in the baby suffering a brain injury. This incident led to Marina losing custody of her child, who was placed in foster care. The emotional toll from the event caused a rift between Marina and her family, especially with her sister and her father's side of the family, who had supported Faith's fugitive lifestyle after she violated her probation. By December, Marina had begun an affair with Toby, an older married man and family friend. He helped her secure an apartment in hopes of creating stability to get her son back. Marina was working at the IGA deli counter and living on her own in this small apartment. On New Year's Eve, she planned to attend a party hosted by Toby. After work, she encountered DJ, who invited her to his New Year's party, but she declined, explaining she had plans to attend another party. DJ witnessed her getting into the car with the unidentified man, a regular customer at the deli, who offered her a ride home. The man later reported that Marina asked to be dropped off at a closed-down pizza restaurant, not wanting him to know where she lived. This behavior seemed consistent with Marina, according to her mother, Tressie, who didn't find it strange. The man claimed to have dropped her off at the pizza place, which was just across the street from her apartment. He left afterward, and Marina was never seen again. The next day, Marina did not show up for her shift at work, and when she missed a visitation with her son, who was in foster care, a missing person report was filed. Police found her apartment in a state that suggested she hadn't been gone long, with no signs of a struggle or theft. Her purse, phone, and keys were missing, but other belongings remained undisturbed, which struck her mother as odd. Tressie discovered that Marina's cell phone last pinged 10 minutes after leaving work, but this information led to no useful clues. Despite this, the Walmart store manager helped retrieve the phone's data, which provided minimal information for the investigation. Tressie noted that Marina would have left behind her work clothes if she had changed to get ready for the party, but they were nowhere to be found. With no answers, the investigation turned toward the man who had given Marina a ride home. His car and description were made public, and it took 3 weeks for him to come forward. His criminal history, which included convictions for abduction and rape, raised suspicion, but he insisted that he drop Marina off at the pizza place as she had asked and had nothing further to add. He passed a polygraph test, and the police cleared him as a suspect, though his involvement remained uncertain. Another potentially important figure in the case was Toby, the married man with whom Marina had been having an affair. Toby admitted to the affair and maintained a close relationship with Marina's family, even though her mother disapproved. He had also invited Marina to the New Year's Eve party. Investigators learned that Toby had asked a woman at the party to call Marina repeatedly when she hadn't arrived yet, but Toby himself never called her. Moreover, when Marina left work, she had been on the phone with Toby, and the last words she supposedly spoke to him were, "Oh, it's D.J.," before hanging up. However, she never called Toby back. Toby's behavior after Marina's disappearance raised suspicions. While he helped search for her, he avoided Tressy's calls and messages and ignored her requests for help. Interestingly, Toby had a key to Marina's apartment, as he was the one who helped her secure it in the first place. Tressy discovered that Marina's journals, which she had always kept, were missing. These journals might have provided crucial insights into Marina's state of mind and her relationships in the days leading up to her disappearance. Another disturbing connection was revealed when it was discovered that a convicted murderer, Vernon Gale Briner, had been living in the same apartment building as Marina. Briner, known for his role in the 1976 Aurora College killing, had been released from prison just 2 years before Marina vanished. Although he had an alibi for the night of her disappearance, his presence raised unsettling questions. Meanwhile, DJ became an unlikely figure in the case when, 6 weeks after Marina's disappearance, he was fatally stabbed during a confrontation at a bar. DJ had heard that a man named Michael Rogers had been with Marina, and when he confronted Rogers, a fight broke out, resulting in DJ's death. Although Rogers was not charged, some believed that DJ's death could have been related to Marina's disappearance, or perhaps he was just upset over the rumors. Despite DJ's death, the search for Marina continued, driven by Tressy's unwavering belief that he was not responsible for her disappearance. In the years following Marina's vanishing, her family persisted in their efforts to find answers. They launched fundraising campaigns, walked through town with signs, and updated social media pages dedicated to her case. Tressy even walked 15 miles through town to raise money for a billboard. Despite all these efforts, no new leads have emerged. 6 years have passed, and Marina's son, who was in foster care, has since been adopted. No physical evidence has been found, and no new suspect have been named in her case. Theories abound regarding who might be responsible for Marina's disappearance. The unnamed man who drove her home, D.J., Toby, Vernon Briner, or even a stranger who crossed her path. Though no one knows for sure what happened to Marina, her family remains determined to keep searching for the truth. They continue to hope that someone, somewhere, has information that could finally bring them the answers they so desperately need. If anyone has information about Marina's case, they're urged to contact the Bloomfield Police Department at 812-332-4411.